The Sword in the Stone, Disney, 1963. First, a few facts about the film. This is very loosely based on the 1938 novel by T.H. White, which is a great yarn, but is not really for kids, and even for adults it's kind of hard to follow as it gets rambly and deep. The film was originally released on Christmas Day in 1963 and then worldwide throughout the following year. In Italian, the title La Spada nella Roccia is directly translated as The Sword in the Rock. In Japanese, we have Osama no Tsurugi, which means the Sword of the King. American critics deem the film delightful but thin on plot and unremarkable in its animation. It received one Academy Award nomination for Best Score, which it lost. It was the last animated feature film released by Disney while Walt was alive, and also the last with the 1953 Buena Vista logo. There was the inevitable live-action adaptation put into development in 2015, set to premiere on Disney+, but as of now, the project is still on hold. Merlin was Carl Swenson, born 1908 in Brooklyn. He was originally going to be a doctor, but dropped out of medical school to pursue acting. I bet his parents loved him for that. He began on Broadway starring in the first Arthur Miller production, The Man Who Had All the Luck. He also appeared in many a radio show, including the lead roles in The Adventures of Father Brown and Mr. Chameleon. Film appearances include The Prize, The Sons of Katie Elder, and a featured role in The Birds. He also showed up in many television episodes, particularly westerns. A recurring role on Little House on the Prairie was his last. He passed away from a heart attack in 1978, a short time after filming his last episode of that show, in which his character also passed away. Wart was played by Ricky Sorensen, born 1946 in Los Angeles. He started in films from the age of 10 and found steady work in movies and television up until the 1970s when he retired from acting. His film work includes The Young Guns from 1956, which coincidentally I have this on the docket to watch next for another video. Also The Man of a Thousand Faces and Airport 77. Other Disney work includes the TV movie Johnny Shiloh, The Cat from Outer Space, and one of the puppies, not sure which one, in 101 Dalmatians. During the recording of Sword in the Stone, his voice began changing, which you can totally hear in the movie, leading director Wolfgang Reitherman to have his two sons record fill-in lines. Super sadly, Sorensen passed away at age 47 in 1993 from cancer. Sir Ector and also the narrator, Sebastian Cabot, born Charles Sebastian Thomas Cabot in 1918, London. He left school at age 14 to work in a garage, becoming a chauffeur and valet for the actor Frank Pettingell. Instead of attending drama school, he learned by doing, jumping right into getting an agent and looking for work. He was fired from a TV show on his first day, but concentrated on improving his art, and soon he was booking jobs more steadily. He did serve in the Army in World War II, but found time to appear in a few British films, and continued his work after the war, coming to the States in the mid-1950s. His live-action films include The Time Machine, They Made Me a Fugitive, and Ivanhoe. He appeared in many TV episodes, finding a regular role on the series Family Affair. Later in his career, he found a lot of voice work, which included an album of spoken versions of Bob Dylan songs. Other Disney work includes the live-action Westward Ho! The Wagons and Johnny Tremaine. Off-screen, he played Bagheera in The Jungle Book and was the narrator for a series of Winnie the Pooh films through the end of the 1970s. Sadly, he died in 1977 at age 59 from a stroke. Madam Mim, everybody's favorite. Also the older squirrel who is billed as Granny Squirrel, and possibly the scullery maid. There's differing information on that one. We'll get to that in a bit. Voiced by Martha Wentworth, born Verna Martha Wentworth in 1889 in New York City. She began on the stage and then moved into radio, appearing on such programs as The Cinnamon Bear, The Witch's Tale, and Abbott and Costello. I'm pretty sure I remember her voice on that one. She also branched out to film and television beginning in the 1940s, with movies such as Waterloo Bridge, Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde, and A Tree Grows in Brooklyn under her belt. For Disney, she also provided voices for 101 Dalmatians as Queenie the Cow, Lucy the Goose, and the faithful servant Nanny, as well as a cow in Mary Poppins, which was her final role before retiring. She passed away in 1974 at the age 84. Sir Kay. Norman Alden, born Norman Adelberg in 1924 in Fort Worth, Texas. A lot of Americans in this British film. He started acting after first service in World War II, then a stint as a radio DJ. His acting career was long and varied, but some of his best-known film roles are from the original Nutty Professor, Tora Tora Tora, and, get this, as Lou the cafe owner in Back to the Future. He was part of an AC Delco ad campaign for 7 years as Lou the mechanic, and his other voice work includes Kranix in the original animated Transformers film, and Aquaman, the Green Arrow, and Plastic Man in the series Super Friends. He passed away at age 87 of natural causes. Archimedes, my personal favorite. Junius Matthews, born 1890 in Chicago. He began his career on Broadway and appeared in one silent film before serving in World War I. He then went back to acting, alternating between stage and radio. There were only a few TV and film roles, including the movies Black Angel, A Summer Place, and My Wife's Best Friend. He portrayed Rabbit, another personal favorite, in the Winnie the Pooh films until 1977, when he passed away from a stroke. Sir Pellinore. Alan Napier, born Alan William Napier Clavering in 1903 in Birmingham, England. His parents were landed gentry, and he himself was first cousin once removed to Neville Chamberlain. He was educated at Pacton Hoff School and attended the Royal Academy of Dramatic Art. I'm getting way too fancy here, gotta talk myself down. Beginning on stage, he found small roles in British films before making the leap across the pond to the American stage, which led to roles in such films as The Song of Bernadette, The Uninvited, and Joan of Arc. Despite a long and storied career that extended until 1981, he is best remembered today as the butler Alfred on the 1960s Batman sitcom. He passed away in 1988 of natural causes. The female squirrel, credited as Little Girl Squirrel, was Ginny Tyler, born Mary Virginia Eggers in 1925 in Berkeley, California. Born into a family supposedly talented in animal sounds, she began on radio and co-hosted the show Make Believe Island. She provided many voices for various properties, including Davy and Goliath, and the 70s cartoon Fantastic Four. For Disney, she was a Mouseketeer, giving televised tours of Disneyland in 1962. She also did some voice work for Mary Poppins as the Singing Lambs, as the original witch voice in the Snow White attraction at Walt Disney World, and various voices including the goddess Pele for the Enchanted Tiki Room. She also narrated many Disney storyteller records, including Peter Pan, Cinderella, and Alice in Wonderland. She passed away in 2012. Coming back to that scullery maid, possibly this might also have been Barbara Jo Allen, who was born Marion Barbara Henshaw in 1906 in Manhattan. She moved to Los Angeles at age 9 and was educated at UCLA, Stanford, and the Sorbonne. Her career was good on radio, where she created a character named Vera Vague, which became popular enough to first join The Bob Hope Show, then star in over a dozen short film subjects for Columbia Pictures, and finally as host of the TV show Followed the Leader in 1953. Other films include Broadway Melody of 1940, Mrs. Wiggs of the Cabbage Patch, and The Opposite Sex. She was also the honorary mayor of Woodland Hills, California. For Disney, she also voiced Fauna, the very best fairy of the three, for the film Sleeping Beauty. She passed away in 1974. Knight in the Crowd, I believe it's this guy, was Tudor Owen, born Roy Tudor Owen in 1898 in Penarth, Wales. He appeared in the 1926 silent film Bride of the Storm, but then got involved in radio and didn't appear in another film for 22 years. For radio, he had regular supporting roles on shows such as Pat Novak for Hire and Alias Jane Doe. He did well on television but retired in 1965. His film appearances include Lorna Doone, The Court Jester, and How the West Was Won. For Disney, he also voiced Towser in 101 Dalmatians. He passed away in 1979. The Wolf, and the Pike, and the Tiger version of Madame Mim are all, supposedly, voiced by Jimmy McDonald. I have covered Jimmy McDonald in a couple other of these videos, so I will not go into him here. He was the Disney sound effects man for many years and did many voices. Go ahead and look him up yourself or watch my other videos and you will find out more. Black Bart was voiced by Thurl Ravenscroft. Much like Jimmy McDonald, this guy was a Disney legend, and I have covered him in other videos, so do go ahead, look him up, and watch my other videos, and you'll find out more about him if you don't already know. Very recognizable voice. The Great Danes known as Tiger and Talbot were both voiced by Mel Blanc. And also, not going to go into Mel Blanc here, man of 1,000 voices. If you don't know who he is, I mean, my gosh, you do know who he is because you have heard his voice. But yes, if it doesn't ring a bell, go ahead and look him up. Yeah, it's too much to go in here for just a couple of voices. But yeah, pretty cool guy. And last but not least, those extra Wart voices were, again, Richard and Robert Reitherman, who were born in 1947 and 1950, respectively, in Los Angeles. As mentioned, these were sons of director Wolfgang Reitherman, brought in to help with Wart's necessarily prepubescent lines. Both are still around today. Richard is the director of women's imaging at the Newport Diagnostic Center, and Robert is the director of the Consortium of Universities of Research in Earthquake Engineering. And there you have it. Every voice in Disney is the sword and the stone. Just saying that makes me feel all kind of royal, but that makes me want to salute. I don't know. My brain is weird. Anyway, I hope you found that as interesting as I did. I hope you're enjoying the series, and, go ahead and check out, it's a whole playlist. Go ahead and check out more of my playlist. You can go to my channel, there's the whole list right there, and all my other videos, should you care to watch those as well. Hint, hint. So until next week, I hope you have a good one, and watch more movies and read more books, and take care of yourselves and each other. Very important, always very important. Especially right now, very important, but always very important. So yes, until next week, see you then. Bye now.